How's it going, everybody? Martha Cross 316 back with another comic book flashback. Today we are looking at The Amazing Spider-Man issue number 55. This issue came out in December of 1967, and as we look on the cover today, we are continuing the third part of this storyline with Dr. Octopus. This time we have a cool looking cover art here with Dr. Octopus as the center of this comic, and we have Spider-Man going up against Dr. Octopus once again. And the title of this issue is Dock Ock Wins. So that's something we have to look forward to in this issue. How does Dock Ock win in this issue? What is that all about? We're going to continue the storyline. We remember from last issue how Dock Ock had fought Spider-Man at Anna Watson's house, and that Aunt May had pretty much become ill because she had witnessed the fight between Spider-Man and Dr. Octopus. And so now Spider-Man, who is Peter Parker, is after Dr. Octopus. He's on the search for Dr. Octopus. And will he be able to find him? We're going to find all this out today, so don't click away. And before we get started, go ahead, give this video a like, and also comment down below what you liked about this story, and subscribe if you have not. And let's go ahead and get started. As always, this is brought to you by Stan the Man Lee, who wrote this issue, as well as John Ringadine Romita doing the artwork for this issue. We also have Mickey DeMaya do the inking, and also lettering by Sam Rosen. So let's go ahead and get started with the story for today. We have Spider-Man on the trail, and somehow he comes across one of Dr. Octopus's hidden lairs where a bunch of his men are there. And so Spider-Man is on the search for Dr. Octopus. He launches his attack on Dr. Octopus's men, asking them, where the heck is Dr. Octopus? I'm looking for him. I gotta take him down. And all of a sudden, Dr. Octopus appears on the screen, and he tells Spider-Man that he is a long ways away from where Spider-Man is at, and that he's going to commit the crime of the century. Spider-Man saying, you're not going to get away with this. But Dr. Octopus gloating here, he knows what he's up to, he knows exactly what he's going to do, and he just has a lot of confidence here. And so Spider-Man, he begins to just smash up the entire place here. He webs up Dr. Octopus's men here. Now he's still going to continue to go on the prowl for Dr. Octopus, and he's like, where could Dr. Octopus be? Well, we recall from issues 31 through 33 that Dr. Octopus used to go by the name of the Master Planner. And so Spider-Man swings by the Master Planner's old hideout, who was Dr. Octopus, but Dr. Octopus is not there. So Spider-Man still does not know exactly where his arch enemy is, so he instead decides he needs to just go on home. But before he goes home, he's going to go visit Aunt May. Now, let's go ahead and move on to the next scene of our story here. And we have J. Jonah Jameson's son, who is John Jameson. We recall we've met him in other issues of Spider-Man. Well, he is put in charge of the security of America's nullifier weapon. And that's the weapon that Dr. Octopus is after. And so we have all these top men in this conference here, and they are concerned about the security of this nullifier, because if it falls into enemies' hands, then it could, be disastrous for other nations to get a hold of it. Another war could break out. And so we see here that John Jameson decides that it needs to be moved to a facility that won't, alert any harm here, and that no one will be able to find this. Well, they decide they need to move the nullifier to Anthony Stark's factory. That's Tony Stark's factory here. So that's the plan. But among the meeting here, we see that there is a spy here, and this guy is actually working for Dr. Octopus. So he is secretly in this meeting, and now he knows where the nullifier is going to go. Now we see here that Peter Parker visits Anna Watson's house to check up on Aunt May. He gets her a gift, probably a box of chocolates. And then Aunt May starts to worry about the damage that's been done to Anna Watson's house. Anna Watson says that Aunt May doesn't need to worry about it. We also see an appearance of Mary Jane here. So that's pretty cool here. So Mary Jane comes on by, checking up on Aunt May as well as to see her favorite guy, who is Peter Parker. And she's like, "You need to show me this broken wall. I want to see this groovy broken wall." So they go into the room and like, "Man, I've heard of air conditioning, but this is ridiculous." And then all of a sudden we see an appearance of Gwen Stacy. So Gwen Stacy, she comes on by and she's like, "I heard what happened and I just wondered if I could do anything." And then Mary Jane's like, "For starters, how about saying goodbye?" So again, once again, both ladies are competing over the attention of Peter Parker. Both women are, it seems to be in the last few issues, trying to compete over the affections of Peter Parker. Now let's move on to our enemy for this issue, which is Dr. Octopus. He learns where the nullifier is from this spy, and so now his plans are set in fruition. And so what he's going to do is he's going to go undercover in this power maintenance truck here, and it has all the electronic devices here for him to commit the crime of the century here. And so John Jameson and all of his men have no idea that Dr. Octopus knows where the nullifier is going. So what happens here? Dr. Octopus is going to sabotage this operation here as the nullifier is being moved in a very secret manner here. All of a sudden, they come across this weird truck that is controlled by Dr. Octopus's men, and lo and behold, Dr. Octopus is hiding in this manhole, and this is where the action starts to take place as Dr. Octopus begins to just smash up all these cars. He jams all the car doors here so that the men cannot get out of their vehicles, and also their uh, vehicles here have bulletproof glass, so they can't shoot their way out of this vehicle. So they are trapped inside their vehicles. We have John Jameson trying to alert top security to throw a cordon around the area to block Dr. Octopus' advancement with the nullifier, but again, Dr. Octopus successfully grabs the nullifier and takes off in his vehicle. So now Dr. Octopus is victorious here. We see J. Jonah Jameson here. He arrives on the scene with Joe Robertson and Ned Leeds to get the story. And of course, Jameson here always blaming Spider-Man for everything, but Spider-Man had nothing to do with it. They ask where Peter Parker is. They try to phone call Harry Osborn, and still Harry Osborn is having a, he doesn't really care where Peter Parker is. He's had this, just anger towards Peter Parker for the last few issues. And so this is at 3 o'clock in the morning. So I don't know where he is. Good night. And so here we go. Spider-Man, he's out swinging about in the, morning time here. And he comes across all this damage that's been done. And it had to be Dr. Octopus. And he comes to realize that Dr. Octopus must be going towards Stark Industries. Now, I don't know how Spider-Man came to that conclusion, but that's where he's going to go. And so, of course, we have Dr. Octopus here in control of the nullifier. He uses the nullifier on these security officers at Stark Industries. He lets the nullifier do its damage, and it pretty much breaks all of the electricity and controls. So now the police can't even use their guns. Their guns are jammed here. And so Dr. Octopus pretty much excited, claiming that he is now supreme and that he can now be the ruler of the world. We see Spider-Man here. He swings on by. He's going to try to take down Dr. Octopus. He's like, "You again." And so Spider-Man was able to tangle up two of Dr. Octopus's tentacles here. And Dr. Octopus is like, "Don't worry, I could take care of Spider-Man." So Spider-Man and Dr. Octopus fighting once again. Spider-Man trying his best to take down Dr. Octopus. Dr. Octopus tries to pin down Spider-Man here. But again, Spider-Man still has a lot of energy, and he is going to try his best to take down Dr. Octopus. Dr. Octopus realizes that Spider-Man is still a big threat, and so what he's going to have to do is he's going to have to use his nullifier on Spider-Man and take him down. So Dr. Octopus here, he pretty much amplifies the nullifier to the highest amount that it can go to, the highest frequency, and it causes Spider-Man to plummet down on the ground. And Dr. Octopus is like, wait a minute, he's recovering. But all of a sudden, we see right here that Spider-Man has lost his memory. He doesn't even know who he is because of the nullifier's effect on him. And so now Dr. Octopus is like, wait a minute now. I don't think he's faking it. I think he really doesn't know who he is. So here we go. Dr. Octopus here tells Spider-Man that he is actually an arch criminal in the service of Dr. Octopus, and they're going to commit the crime of the century. So what the heck is going to happen next issue as we see the team up, hard to believe, of Dr. Octopus and Spider-Man? We're going to see all this next issue as Spider-Man joined forces with Dr. Octopus. Oh my goodness. Hope to see you there next time as we look at issue number 56. And so go ahead, give this video a like, and I will see you next time. And as always, keep reading comics.